Deepening our economic ties is why I also hope to make progress with President Xi towards an ambitious, high-standard bilateral investment treaty that opens up China's economy to American investors, an agreement that could unlock even more progress and more opportunity in both of our countries. We're also working to put in pursuit of an international agreement on the ITA. And we'll speak directly and candidly, as we always do, about specific actions China can take to help all of us across the Asia-Pacific to expand trade and investment, which many of the CEOs I talked to raise in our discussions. We look to China to create a more level playing field on which foreign companies are treated fairly, so that they can compete fairly with Chinese companies. A playing field where competition policy promotes the welfare of consumers and doesn't benefit just one set of companies over another. We look to China to become an innovative economy that values the protection of intellectual property rights and rejects cyber theft of trade secrets for commercial gain. We look to China to approve biotechnology advances that are critical to feeding a growing planet on the same timeline as other countries, to move definitively towards a more market-determined exchange rate, and yes, to stand up for human rights and freedom of the press. We don't suggest these things because they're good for us. We suggest that China do these things for the sake of sustainable growth in China and the stability of the Asia-Pacific region. And I look forward to discussing these issues along with China's concerns and ideas with President Xi over the next few days. Now, even as America works to deepen our bilateral ties with China, we're focused this week on deepening our ties with all the APEC economies, including reducing barriers to trade and investment so that companies like yours can grow, create new jobs, and promote prosperity across the Asia-Pacific region. After all, Asia's largest export market is the United States. That benefits American consumers because it's led to more affordable goods and services. 6 of America's top 10 export markets are APEC economies. And more than 60% of our exports, over $1 trillion worth of goods and services, are purchased by APEC economies. That supports millions of American jobs. So the work that APEC members have done together over the years has lowered tariffs, cut shipping costs, and made it cheaper, easier, and faster to do business. And that supports good jobs in all of our nations. We've worked together to improve food security, encourage clean energy, promote education, and deliver disaster relief. And all of this has made a difference. But we can always do more. We can do more to reduce barriers to trade and economic growth. Since 2006, we've worked together towards the ultimate goal of a free trade area of the Asia-Pacific, and APEC has shown a number of pathways that could make it a reality. And one of those pathways is the Trans-Pacific Partnership between the United States and 11 other nations. Once complete, this partnership will bring nearly 40% of the global economy under an agreement that means increased trade, greater investment, and more jobs for its member countries, a level playing field on which businesses can compete, high standards that protect workers, the environment, and intellectual property. And I just met with several other members of the TPP who share my desire to make this agreement a reality. We're going to keep on working to get it done, for we believe that this is the model for trade in the 21st century. Agreements like this will benefit our economies and our people, but they also send a strong message. That's what's important isn't just whether our economies continue to grow, but how they grow. That what's best for our people isn't a race to the bottom, but a race to the top. Obviously, ensuring the continued growth and stability of the Asia-Pacific requires more than a focus on growth on trade and investment. Steady, sustainable growth also requires making it easier for small businesses to access capital in new markets. And when about 1/3 of small businesses in the region are run by women, then steady, sustainable growth requires every woman's ability to fully participate in the economy. That's true in the United States. That's true everywhere. Steady, sustainable growth requires promoting policies and practices that keep the Internet open and accessible. Steady, sustainable growth requires a planet where citizens can breathe clean air and drink clean water and eat safe food and make a living fishing healthy oceans. Steady, sustainable growth requires mobilizing the talents and resources of all our people, regardless of gender or religion or color or creed, offering them the opportunity to participate in open and transparent political and economic systems, where we cast a harsh light on bribery and corruption and a well-deserved spotlight on those who strive to play by the rules. Those are all some of the areas we'll be focused on at APEC this week and going forward. And obviously, every country is different. No country is following the same model. But there are things that bind us together, and despite our differences, we know there are certain standards and ideals that will benefit all people. We know that if given a choice, our young people would demand more access to the world's information, not less. We know that if allowed to organize, our workers would better demand working conditions that don't injure them, that keep them safe, that they're looking for stronger labor and environmental safeguards, not weaker. We know that if given a voice, women wouldn't say, give us less. They'd speak up for more access to more markets, more access to capital, more seats in our legislature, in our boardrooms. And so these are all key issues in growth as well. Sometimes we focus just on trade and investment and dollars and cents, but these things are important as well. These ideals aren't just topics for summits and state visits. They're touchstones of the world that we're going to leave to our children. The United States is not just here in Asia to check a box. We're here because we believe our shared future is here in Asia, just as our shared past has been. We're looking to a future where a worker in any of our countries can afford to provide for his family, where his daughter can go to school and start a business and have a fair shot at success, where our fundamental rights are cherished and protected and not denied. And that future is one where our success is defined less by armies and less by bureaucrats and more by entrepreneurs and innovators, by dreamers and doers, by business leaders who focus as much on the workers they empower as the prosperity that they create. That's the future that we seek. That's why we're here. It's why we've worked so closely together these past several years, and as long as I'm America's president, I'm going to be invested in your success because I believe it is essential to our success as well. Thank you very much. 谢谢。